Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. Welcome to Ricky VRTV in cahoots with Shelfside Spurs and Spurswasian TV. Please like, subscribe, and hit the bell thingy. Welcome, John. How are you?
I'm all right, mate. I thought you were doing a weather report there. I thought you were going to say sunny Amsterdam or something like that, but not cahoots. We're in cahoots with.
It's bloody lovely, mate. 17 degrees. The sun is shining. It's been very nice.
Looks like the sun's out here. Let me have a little weather report for you. I'm sure that's what people are tuning in for, isn't it? By now, like in our respective towns. So it's drum roll, please. 16 degrees, Jens. It's going to get to a high of 19 later.
Oh wow! Well, yeah, we've got 17 degrees, and it's going to get to 20. So not quite as nice as I've enjoyed over the last week in Turkey. That was rather nice, having people bring me beer and food and stuff like that. So.
It's like being at home.
Definitely not. I have to get my own beer. Yeah. I even have to get Olivia's beer. It's unbelievable.
What happens in Holland when it gets hot then with the old clogs and stuff? Does the wood expand or contract or?
I have no clue. I think it expands when it gets water on it, but no, I don't know. I don't think I've ever seen anyone wear clogs in the Netherlands. Only ever in Denmark. My dad used to wear them when he used to work, doing stuff around the house, DIY and stuff like that. He had a pair of clogs. So, I tried them on once. That was possibly the most uncomfortable shoes known to man. So I won't be putting a pair of those on. Big up, Celery Agent.
Hello, Celery.
Unfortunately, Eugene is working today, and Kev's missus is a little bit unwell. So get well soon, Sarah, and take good care of her, Kev. If you're watching, don't forget to smash the like. So we'll start off on this day in Spurs history.
Well, actually, it's a very big day in our history, Jens.
Yes, it is. Yeah.
I'll explain to you why. Yeah, look at that. So we won our first 2 FA Cups on this day in history, didn't we?
Oh, was it 2? Really?
Yeah. So wow. The first one and the second one was on this day in history.
Okay, bloody hell.
You want me to read you the review that I've got in there?
Yes, please.
Okay, so this was Saturday, the 27th of April. As you can see, 1901, Spurs 3, Sheffield United 1. Spurs win the FA Cup, the second time of asking when they beat Sheffield United 3-1 in a replay at Burnden Park, Bolton. The Blades took the lead early on, but are pegged back by John Cameron in the second period before Tom Smith and Sandy Brown put Tottenham comfortably ahead. The Blades can't find a way back into the game, meaning Spurs win their first major honour.
As a non-league team.
Yeah, and at Wembley, either.
No, it was, I think this programme is actually from the first game, which was at Crystal Palace.
Okay.
And then the second game was at Burnden Park.
Burnden Park, Bolton.
Bolton, yeah. So, which is another ground that doesn't exist anymore.
No. I don't know if Crystal Palace is still at the same ground or whether they've...
I don't think so, no. I think it was actually next to the old Crystal Palace. So I don't think that is anywhere near the current ground. But I don't. My knowledge of South East London is not great because I never really wanted to go there because I couldn't afford the jabs and the stab-proof vest and stuff like that. So.
It was the right bollock to get to. When it was the only London away game we didn't bother even going to because someone said to us, "Well, it'll take you about 2.5 hours to get there." It's like, fuck that.
Yeah, I think you have to go into Victoria, is it?
Yeah, it's a horrible journey.
London Bridge or something.
Nowhere near the train station.
Yeah.
Everyone, he might have done the journey in the old days.
Yeah. No, I remember Steve saying he went there with Watford and he said it was one of the best acoustics in an away end that he'd been to. That they had the side and it's a real gentle slope and the roof is quite close, so you could make a massive amount of noise. And obviously, Watford lost, but he said he enjoyed it.
Obviously.
Obviously.
Kev, if you could put in the comments, because I'm sure you're watching, is Crystal Palace a bollock to get to?
And were you at the 1901 FA Cup final?
In a seamless link, although he wasn't at the 1901 Cup final, I'm sure he was at the 1921 FA Cup final. which has also happened on this day in history. Saturday, the 27th of April, 1921. Spurs lift the FA Cup for the second time when Jimmy Dimmock hits the winning goal against Wolves at Stamford Bridge. A crowd of almost 73,000 people, 73,000 watched the game, playing in damp conditions on a sodden, muddy pitch. Nothing changes there, that old shitty Chelsea pitch. The only goal of the game was worth waiting for, as the two Berts, Smith and Bliss, combined to send Dimmock through on goal. And after holding off a last defender's challenge, the Tottenham left winger tucked the ball home to the delight of the majority of the crowd. Dimmock would stay with Spurs until 1930, by which time he clocked up nearly 400 games and scored 100 goals. There we go. So what a historic day in history for the club. We won our first and second FA Cups on this day.
Absolutely. I'd just like to pop in there. You said the two Berts. You never hear anyone called Bert anymore, do you? It's all Rob or Robbie or whatever.
Robert, yeah, Robert or Rob. I call Robert Matthews Bert.
Oh, okay.
That's any consolation, Jens. I'm still keeping it alive. Bertie boy.
And Rob Alexander, I seem to remember, was called Bert as well.
Bert Alexander. Tottenham fan as well.
Yes, yeah. And his brother. Have you seen his brother recently?
Richard, yeah, I saw him about a week ago. He works in Aylesbury, the same as me. So I went past the shop he works in, and he gave me a little one of those.
Oh,
I gave him those.
Gave him one of those. Right, so.
Well. Hold your horses, Jens. We've got a third bonus on this day in history.
Oh,
you ready for this? It's not really a game or anything, but on this day, in 1945, Martin Chivers is born in Southampton. Big Chiv begins his career with his local side Southampton and plays with distinction at the Dale for 6 years. Chivers grabbed the nation's attention with 96 goals in 175 games, earning him a big money move to Tottenham. A fee of £125,000 was paid for his services, and he scored on his debut against Sheffield Wednesday. Kev, can you remember that? Text us in if you can. Another 117 league goals followed as he was at the forefront of Spurs' successes in the coming years. There we go. Big Chiv.
I'm pretty sure I met him.
Picture of your intro. Now you and Big Chiv, I'm sure.
No, I think that's Maxi Miller and Alan Mullery.
Big Chiv's on there as well, I'm sure.
Oh, is he?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, because I'm
pretty sure I've met him. That's a fucking picture of him when he came to the show.
I'm not sure he is. I'm sure I met him, but I didn't realise I had a photo with him.
I'm sure Big Chiv on the beginning there.
Oh, is he? But yeah, I seem to remember he was a nice bloke. Maxi Miller scared the absolute living crap out of me. He was proper intense. He wasn't very friendly, and I went up for a picture with the UEFA Cup with him and Alan Mullery. And I'd had a few beers and I was a bit, and he was like, "Don't fucking drop it." So, yes, Mr. Maxi.
How tall was he? Was he anywhere near you or not?
I think he was just a little bit smaller than me, but he is a big lad. He's a big lump.
You don't realise
that's
in the backside. Remember we met Tony Gow in which pub was that?
Yeah, that was the Beehive.
Beehive, wasn't it? Yeah.
And yeah, I was amazed because every time you see him on Sky Sports back then, he was so anti-Tottenham, and he sat there having a drink with a bunch of Spurs boys.
He was a nice guy, wasn't he?
Yeah,
completely different to how he was on telly.
Yeah.
Wasn't he? Well, I suppose he adapts to his surroundings, but he just seemed like a nice guy, didn't he?
I wonder where he's born. I wonder if he was born round our way or around Tottenham way. Let me have a quick look. Talk amongst yourselves. Oh, he's the chairman of Walton Casuals.
Is he?
He was born in Westminster.
Blimey.
Okay, that's interesting.
Well, I think that was the main hospital, wasn't it, for that part of London? So.
Oh, was it? Okay. Yeah. Supported Chelsea as a child.
Oh, that blames the anti-Tottenham rhetoric, doesn't it, really?
Yeah, very possibly.
Like Merson, that's where Merson's comes from, and he was a Chelsea fan as well.
Oh, was he? Really? Okay.
Chelsea
and then
fan.
you've got, what's his name, Wilshere, who I think was born in East London as a West Ham fan. And he's taken over at Norwich, isn't he?
What, Wilshere?
Yeah.
He?
As caretaker, I believe.
He can't be that old. He must be only like 33.
Yeah, I don't think he Let's have a look. What are they saying? Jack Wilshere. They drew 0-0 with Middlesbrough, but yeah, he's taken over as caretaker boss there.
Yeah, he'll never last.
No, he's a fucking twat, isn't he?
Yeah.
That bloke is such an idiot. But as Celery Agent said, 2-3-5 formations and players called Bert. The good old days.
What hey, Bertie? I'm sporting a tash for Bertie today.
we can't play cricket in the winter, so we'll play football. What-o?
He's trying to keep the boys together, keep them away from the wives. Hurrah.
Don't forget to have a nice rough shag at half time.
That's just the Arsenal.
Right, so unfortunately I was away last week and they didn't have any English football on the television in the hotel I was in. So I didn't see the Nottingham Forest game. And John said that he watched it and he can't really remember an awful lot about it.
I remember the goalie
we lost.
Yeah, the goalie made a lot of saves. He did have a good game, that goalie, and we conceded from 2 set pieces, really. First one was like a deflected shot from outside the area, kind of hit one of the defenders, sort of bounced up over Vic. Vic should have saved it still, I think. And the second one he was probably at fault for as well. He came out, didn't need to come out, really. I mean, the header was quite good from Wood. It might have beaten him anyway, but he made it easy for him. He came out and missed the ball, and then Wood headed it into the net. So he's kind of throwing Ange under the bus a bit at the moment, isn't he, Vicario? He's making lots of little errors.
Yeah. But that's something that I saw brought up on social media and the forums I go on. Our aerial defending for two big chaps like Romero and Van der Ven. Now, we know that Chris Wood is damn good in the air, but you would have thought with their stature, they should be able to deal with that.
But it was quite damning that he made 2 subs at half time, Jens. Well, it was pre-planned, apparently. He took Romero and Van der Ven off for Ben Davies and Danso, but we weren't troubled in the second half at all. We know Danso is really good in the air, and Ben Davies is all right in the air, and they didn't. And Wood didn't cause them any troubles. I know they kind of withdrew and parked the bus a bit to try and see out the result, which Nuno likes to do, and hit on the counter attack. But yeah, we looked better in the second half with Danso and Davies. To be honest, I know it's a different game. They weren't attacking us as much, but Danso's good in the air, and so I kind of snuffed that out a little bit.
Do you think that Danso, because obviously there's a lot of talk about Romero leaving, do you think that Danso will be able to step into his boots?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, I think that was why he's bought, wasn't it, really? We needed someone a bit more dominant in the air, just somebody who's more of a natural defender, like going to head and clear everything. He seems to be like, he seems quite competent on the ball, doesn't he? He doesn't, like Big Dave, when he needs to keep cool under his feet and stuff and panics when he's under pressure. He seems to, play a pass. You know me, no excuse not to hammer Big Dave. He's about to win the title today, and he as well.
Oh, is he? What, Galatasaray?
Didn't you say? Well, I thought he was at Ajax. Is he not at Ajax? No.
No. Big Dave's Galatasaray, but I think they've already won the title. But let me have a look.
I'm surprised we haven't had all the memes from everyone going, "Oh, another player that's left Tottenham to win a trophy." Well, funny that because he's joined the top club in Turkey. Who'd have thought he'd win the title? Well,
they haven't won it yet. They got a game in hand and they're 2 points ahead of Fenerbahce. I was in Turkey and I tried to talk football with a couple of the waiters, and unless you're talking German, they don't really understand you. So it was a very German Dutch hotel, but it was nice and we had lots of sunshine. Olivia had a great time in the pool. Yeah, barely drag her out of it, to be honest. It was so she had a lovely time and we all had a lovely time. But right, so I'm going to go on to Liverpool versus Spurs.
Before we talk about that, actually, it'd be a good seamless link, actually, with saying about Dave possibly winning the title with. We were talking backstage about Harry Kane, weren't we? So, they actually need one win next week, don't they, to win the title out in Bayern Munich. So it'd be nice to see Harry win a trophy. It's a shame he had to leave to do it, isn't it? But we were saying about the disrespect in the media over here. Literally all of the BBCs and Skies and all these big aggregator accounts, they're trying to take the piss out of him because he got booked yesterday and he's going to miss the moment. I was like, isn't it just disgusting that this country, they cannot give that man any respect until he scored 60 goals in 60 games pretty much this season, only to win him the title and get him everywhere, and then just because an incidental thing like that he gets booked and he's going to miss that particular game, it doesn't like lessen his achievements or anything, does it? It's ridiculous. And they've all jumped all over it just to have a little jab at him. It's ridiculous. It's pathetic. It's disgusting. Actually.
Do you think they're actually having a jab at him? Do you think if he played for Man United or he played for Chelsea or he played for Arsenal, I think it's all down to the Spurs link. It's got to be.
Yeah, I think so. I think you're right.
Because it just everyone, you know, what was it? There was, I think it was Talk Sport posted up a meme of like a load of smoke, and they said, "Oh, someone's gone in and been clearing out the trophy cabinet at Tottenham Hotspur," and it's like all of these
Everton fans and stuff like that. Yeah,
idiots from most of them are like from Africa or from the United States. Never been to a game. Never will go to a game. No, fuck all about football. But yeah, we've never won a trophy. Look back in your history, fellas. I know that's difficult for you to do, but yeah.
There's a load of memes on social media today about that idiot box of the Arsenal guys out last night, and apparently said he wants to go and sit down in a cold, dark room. So all the Gooners are like standing, "Oh, you should go in the Tottenham trophy cabinet." I was like, I can't even be bothered to reply to them anymore. It's like, all right, mate. Yeah, we've never won anything, have we?
But it is. I think it's ridiculous as well that they actually let that bloke walk out to North London forever. Yes.
Yeah. Well, to be fair, the stadium announcer got his own back because he put the Tottenham song on when he got knocked out at the end, didn't he? So there was obviously some Tottenham representation in the on the PA system at least.
Well, yeah, his opponent was a Tottenham fan.
Okay, good.
Yeah, he's one of those grime MCs as well. You know, that kind of is big in Tottenham, and he's got a lot of friends around. He's probably mates with the Tottenham Mandem and the Northumberland Park Killers, and luck you get me. But that was nice that he got knocked out. Right, so on to today to our annual loss or very lucky draw, which is never going to happen. At Anfield.
Just one more point on that last bit. That's Ange said in his press conference this week. Isn't it remarkable that Villa and Forest and Chelsea and Man City are all getting lauded for this big battle for fifth, and yet when we finished fifth last year, we're a disgrace and we're disgusting and we're failures and stuff like that. It's just double standards when it comes to Tottenham. And he actually used his press conference to make that point that Villa and Newcastle and Forest are getting praised for finishing fifth, yet when we were in the battle for fifth and fourth, it was a failure and Ange out and all this kind of stuff last year, wasn't it? So it's just double standards in the media again to pick on us, isn't it? If anyone else gets fifth, it's a good achievement, but us, it's
it is. I don't know. I have a feeling it's because most of the reporters were probably growing up during the Arsenal Invincibles time and stuff like that. So half of them are Arsenal fans anyway, because they're a bunch of bandwagon jumping twats. And the media is basically controlled by Gooners and Man United fans. The football media anyway.
Yeah.
Now, maybe I'm putting my tin foil hat on and it's a conspiracy or whatever, but I don't think that's true. There's so many.
Absolutely not. I had the same thought. Yes, when that first thing I saw on that BBC Sport. So Bayern Munich had won the game. They're one win away. Harry Kane's finally going to win some silverware, and their immediate thought was, "Oh, this is the chance to hammer him." So he's actually going to win a trophy. And typical Harry Kane, he's not even going to be on the pitch. It's like, what a disgusting take to make on that chain of events. Ridiculous.
It is amazing how a player that talented can have so much aggro from the press, and it's probably one of the reasons that he moved away as well. That he's just like, I don't want this. I can't be bothered to listen to it. And he's, I obviously don't read an awful lot about in the German press, but you'd hope that they wouldn't be that disrespectful to him as they are over here. Yeah. He's top goal scorer for England, isn't he?
Yeah. Ever.
And you can't even give him that little bit of respect. It's just, I find it disgusting.
He defended himself the other day, Ange. I don't know if you saw. He said, "Well, everyone keeps saying how easy it is to score against Liechtenstein and all these qualifying games." He said, "Well, why has no one else done it then? If it's that easy, why?" He said he finds it funny that everyone says how easy it is to score, but he said no one else seems to be able to do it. So He actually came out and defended himself a little bit, which I was glad to see. He must have finally had enough, you know.
So, you reckon he's coming back in the summer?
He won't come.
Player manager?
He won't come back to us because Levy fucked him off, didn't he, when he left? There was a big fallout. Yeah, we talked about it at the time about him, like taking this box away from him and all these kind of things because he, in loyalty payments, there was all these arguments over loyalty payments and stuff, and he really pissed him off and him and his family off. Didn't they? I think his brother did a tweet or something at the time saying if that's the kind of respect you get for from somebody who's growing up through the club, and Levy was a right arsehole to them, I think, when they left. So I don't think they'll be coming back while he's there.
Yeah, that's true.
You have to be classy, don't you, in your goodbyes sometimes, because you never know what's going to happen in the future, do you?
No. So Daniel 90 is saying, big up. To be honest, I understand it because we had the best start in Premier League history last season. No team in Premier League history has had that amount of points after 10 games and not got fourth. Yeah, okay. Well, that's understandable. I think, to be honest, by that time, by the end of the season, other teams had worked out Ange's tactics, and because he's quite stubborn, he didn't really want to change it.
Also, Jens, I didn't mention that the other day the game was on Sky, and they did their usual all weekend. There's loads of games, and Romero did one tough tackle, and you had your Gary Nevilles and Carragher's going, oh, he's gone in like that. He's naughty. He's left his foot in there, and me and my brother was like, oh, for fuck, just leave him alone, for fuck's sake. Get on with the game. The other player hasn't complained. They try and hunt down Romero. They've got this agenda against him, haven't they? Which started with that bloody Chelsea game last year, didn't it?
Yeah. And Miss Melina, big ups. Nice to see you. Miss Melina, please like the show. That'd be a great help to all of us. Right, so the Liverpool game.
Yeah.
I don't know if you can see the lineup. George, you want me to read it out?
I can't see it.
Okay, so it's Vicario, Udogie, VDV, Romero, Spence, Bergvall, Bentancur, Maddison, Tell, Solanke, and Johnson.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to see if he goes strong and then takes them off with Thursday in mind, or whether he goes weak and just gets some minutes in their legs at the end.
Yeah.
He was talking shit again in the press conference again about Archie Gray. Did you see his comments, Jens?
No, I didn't.
One of them asked him, said it's a bit harsh, he's played every minute, covering all these different positions, and now you're not giving him any minutes in his preferred position. And he said something like, "Oh yeah, he's fit and ready and raring to go, but I needed to get minutes into some of the other people's legs, so they're fit and ready and raring to go as well." I'm like, well, he won't be fucking fit and ready and raring to go because he hasn't had any match time for like a month, has he? Now he hasn't been. He's had the odd 10 minutes here and there, so his match fitness would have dropped away completely.
Yeah, that is a big mystery for me. That he just completely stopped playing him. I think that he'd probably offer more than Bentancur.
I don't know. Bentancur's done all right, but he's that.
I actually can't get a look at that.
Yeah, the only thing I've found is defence. He hasn't actually taken his chance, has he? When he has been given the fleeting moments, albeit fleeting moments in midfield, he hasn't really stood out or done anything. He hasn't gone on any sort of driving runs or done any big tackles or anything to stand out, has he? He's just neat and tidy, which is maybe what you're going to get with him.
Yeah, but I think that might be something that we need because he's able to clear up. And especially when VDV or Romero are in the opposition's penalty area, you would kind of hope that Ange would do something along the lines of what Pochettino did with the wing backs getting forward, and then Dyer would drop back into to make a back three, and I think Gray could do something like that.
I agree.
But obviously, just to make it a back two.
I think he's shown he's tactically disciplined enough, isn't he? He does what he's told and carries out instructions, so he could do it.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's a strange one.
Yeah, it's a very, very strange one.
He seems to bow down to the meritocracy of the dressing room, doesn't he? The most senior players always come in and play. Although Bergvall's kind of broken through that mould, isn't he? Because he's deserved. He comes in and plays well every week, and he's made himself undroppable, hasn't he?
Yeah.
As Steve Perrin says, you don't have to be liked; you just have to make yourself respected by the manager. If you come in and do your job and play well every week, he's got no option but to play, has he? Then.
Yeah. Do you think that's a glaring mistake on my behalf? Do you think Kulusevski will start?
Yeah,
And where will he start?
I think so. Yeah, in the middle. He seems to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Instead of who?
Brent. Who have we got on here? I can't see your thing. Is it
Maddison,
Bergkamp?
Bentancur, and Boba.
He had a good excuse not to play Maddison last week because he was concussed from getting clattered. But I think Maddison won't start. I think.
Yeah.
Well, it depends. If it's a free hit game and we're just sending someone out there, he might want to just get the minutes into Maddison's legs, but then he wants to get the legs into Kulusevski as well, doesn't he? I think he'll play Kulusevski because he's more important to us, I think, on Thursday than Maddison.
Yeah. Another Twitterati rumour is that James Maddison staying at Tottenham is dependent on whether Postecoglou stays at Tottenham. So that kind of infers that him and Postecoglou don't get on. Have you heard anything else about this?
Well, you can tell from his body language and his performances that he's not particularly happy. I don't know. I don't. But he's in that alone, it shows a lack of character for me, doesn't it? Because even once you're around that pitch, you shouldn't be worried about the manager or anything like that. You just want to be playing football. Like, no better job in the world kicking the football around, is there? So you'd think he'd be making himself undroppable, but he seems to be just like a stroppy little teenager at the moment, doesn't he? To some degree.
That, I think, is one thing that I have started to dislike about Maddison, is that he's always had such a big mouth, and now things are not going so well with the manager, with the club. He should be one of the people to step up. He's one of the more senior players in the side.
I think his silence is telling on that front, isn't it? And Sons as well, to be honest. I mean, some of the players like Kulu and other players have stood up for the manager, haven't they? But I don't think Maddison has. Yeah. He kind of begrudgingly said we're all behind the manager, and like some washy, airy-fairy, generalistic comments, isn't he? But nothing really specific.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think as Daniel says there, it's clear they don't get on in it.
Yeah, yeah. And I wonder how many more of them there are in the dressing room, because so many of the team have come out in support of him. But if you're seriously supporting the manager, surely you give that extra 5-10% because of the manager. We haven't seen that in a long time.
Well, that's another thing that Steve Perriman always says, isn't it? Like, if you're under pressure as a manager, you stick with the 6 or 7 guys you know you can rely on. They're like your generals, and you know they're going to give you the same effort whether you're 3-0 down or 3-0 up. You bomb off all the prima donnas and all the ones that don't put it in when the going gets tough, and you stick with the core and go with it. Which is odd that I suppose it's telling that he hasn't been picking Maddison, isn't it? Because they're not one of his players that he can rely on, kind of thing. Well, Archie Gray was, and he's not getting a look in now.
Yeah, it's strange. And the drop-off in form of Pape Matar, I thought that guy was going to be a well-beater.
He's done his patchy performance. He was actually right on against Forest, Jens. Me and my brother said he normally doesn't play very well without Basuma, but he didn't have Basuma there, and he actually did all right. He had a good game, to be fair. So, yeah, he did all right.
Yeah.
Yeah,
so salary agent saying Mikey Moore probably stick a boot in after Maddison. Moore is an interesting one. I can understand that he is only 17 years old, but saying some of the things that Ange has said, I really think he could be used as an impact sub.
Yeah. There were games, especially in Europe and after that, when he was our go-to player, wasn't he, to create something or just change a game, and then he's not getting a look in. I think he started, was it Palace he started, or in one game, and he didn't exactly play. But we were awful. I think we were about 3-0 down at half time. It wasn't Mikey Moore's fault. Everyone was awful. He hasn't had a look in since that game, kind of thing.
But I do think it's strange starting him though. As you say, he's 17 years old. You whack him on as an impact sub.
Yeah.
Either when you're ahead and he's running at tired defenders, or when you're behind, running at tired defenders as well. But he can make something. He can make that spark.
I mean, we've got Oda Bertel. My son's not been playing at the moment, so you think there would be an extra winger position. Yeah. He just keeps shifting people around, and he's
definitely making some very interesting choices at the moment as manager. Do you think he knows that his days are numbered?
Yeah, I think so. There was a thing on Talk Sports saying that the way he's been a bit snappy and not really conciliatory with the fans anymore. He's not right trying to douse fires. He's kind of inflaming him and stuff. Because he must know he's going out punching. Kind of thing.
Yeah, it's interesting. What I don't know if this quote has been taken out of context, or he said that, well, my future is still bright no matter what happens.
You've got to back yourself, haven't you? If no one else backs you.
Yeah, that's fair enough. But who do you think will want to take him?
Well, he'd probably go back to Celtic, won't he?
Yeah, I think Brendan Rodgers will probably leave at the end of the year. I did hear a rumour that someone was saying that we were interested in him. I hope to God not. Can't stand that bloke. But he'd get a better tune out of us than Postecoglou, I reckon.
Not a fan of Brendan Rodgers.
No, me neither. But, so Daniel 90 said, under Poch, we had a structure of a team strong in every department. This team is a joke. No Premier League team will touch him. I'd agree with that. It wouldn't surprise me if he will go. I'm not really sure. Would he want to go to Greece? Would he want to go? Would anyone take him in Germany, Belgium, Netherlands?
Germany? Greece. He has said that previously out of tribute to his dad and stuff. There's a top job in Greece, so maybe it might be. Was he 59 now? And he's so 60. Still got some legs in his tank, hasn't he?
Yeah, I just I'm not really sure where he goes from here, to be honest, because I think he hasn't done himself any favours in the press, and the football speaks for itself, which is mainly disjointed at the moment. You can obviously say that the players have a lot to take on their shoulders there as well, but the manager needs to, as mentioned earlier, the manager needs to give you that extra 5-10% by motivating you. There was another story came out in the press that says he doesn't talk to the players one-on-one, which was from one of his old Australian guys. That guy he had a big argument with, Craig Foster, I believe it was. I think he might play for Millwall or Wolves or someone like that. Maybe Celtic, I don't know. Many years ago. But it does seem a strange... It does remind me a little bit of Poch. That, well, obviously he spoke to his favoured people, but if you were out of the first 11, he wouldn't speak to you. How can you do that as a manager? How do you... It doesn't... You're obviously a coach. If you don't like someone on your team, are you not going to speak to him?
Human nature, and I used to do it when I was managing. If someone had pissed me off, or if they weren't putting it in, if they were being lazy and they were slagging me off or something like that, I just didn't bother talking to them.
Okay.
It's human nature. I've done it myself.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
But I was gonna say you probably take him out in the car park down the check.
No, just fucking don't pick the match and then just what I used to do. I shouldn't really say this. Give them a hide into nothing, put them on against tough games, and like for the last 10 minutes where they couldn't possibly perform well, and so I could say to them, "There you go. That's why you're not getting picked, mate, because you're not doing it."
Like it, John. Anybody from the Checkers watching?
Yeah, anyone from the Checkers watching.
So, Celery Agent is saying, fuck off back to Palk or somewhere. Bit harsh, but oh well. Daniel 90. Sorry?
I'm not sure which of the Greek teams is Dad supported.
I thought it was Olympiacos, but I might be wrong. But Daniel said, I feel like Ange is using us as a social experiment to prove he can make it in the major leagues. He's failed massively. I would say that Levy's using this guy as a social experiment. He's cheap. He came with a big rep from Celtic. Celtic won the league again yesterday. I can't remember how many times in a row that is. And they're on for their 6th treble in 8 seasons. So it's not really like they're a difficult team to win with, especially when you have the financial muscle that they have compared to the rest of the teams in Scotland.
To play devil's advocate, I would say that it hasn't failed massively because he hasn't been backed properly. His style of football is all about high pressing and having 2 players in every position, two relatively similar level players in every position, so that he can drop in and out and keep the high intensity going. So his style of football needs a big squad of players, and Levy didn't back him to the level that he needed after telling him last year that now we're in Europe, we're going to have lots of injuries, lots of fatigue. I want to play high intensity, high pressure football. We need a stronger squad of experienced players, and I don't think he was given that. So I think the jury's still out on whether that style of football is successful or not. As I don't think you can really give it. It wasn't really given a fair crack of the whip, was he? To be honest.
So, do you think if he went somewhere like Man City, where they've got endless amounts of players, that he would succeed?
That was in my head. I was just thinking there. If he went to Man City, he had strong players in every position, and he could rotate energy-wise, and he had equivalent quality coming in, and not just a complete drop off or youngsters. Yeah. And then the inevitable injuries happen, which he told us about in advance. He said, "Look, the way we play football is high intensity. We train as we play. We're going to get lots of muscle injuries and fatigue. We need a stronger squad," and he didn't get his stronger squad, did he? So that's probably one of the reasons he's stropping around and he's a bit mopey, because he's like, "What can I fucking do?" Yeah. I told you about all this, and he didn't help. So the chickens are coming home to roost. Yeah. The cockerels are coming home to roost.
And shitting on Mr. Levy's head.
Yeah, so it'd be interesting to see if he had a stronger squad, if his style of football could have succeeded.
So, Kavinsky Night Glow, welcome, sir. How are you? I feel like Daniel has his hands on my balls and I don't even know it. I'm pretty sure you would, mate, because he'd try and steal them. Good morning, evening, and good night if you live in North Korea. How would any manager cope in this season if they were only back with 5 kids and 1 season wonder striker? That is true.
As well, I was saying to my brother the other day, the players that we brought in were all Championship and lower level Prem players as well, weren't they, really? Madison had just got relegated. Richarlison was in a relegation battle with Everton, wasn't he? You got Brennan Johnson, who was in the Championship. Odegaard was in the Championship. Archie Gray was in the Championship. Solanke was at Bournemouth, lower. They had a good season, but they're like mid-table at best, aren't they, kind of thing? So the recruitment was from the budget aisle, wasn't it, really? I wouldn't say cheap, but it wasn't from the top rank stuff, was it, available? And then we wonder why we're not putting up any trees.
And as usual, he's speculating to accumulate, isn't he? He's buying youngsters, hoping that their sell-on value will go up massively, and then he'll sell them on and rinse and repeat.
It's a business, isn't it? Like if he thinks that if he sell a player for that money, then it keeps the club's running costs going. It's like, mate, that's the whole idea of the stadium. And then you've got all these external events and boxing and concerts to keep it going. Yeah, F1.
So when are you guys playing there?
I wouldn't play there.
I heard a story the other day that a reporter was at the opening of the St George's. Is it the training ground for the English team?
Okay, yeah, St
George's Park. And Levy was there. And he went up to him and he said, they had a polite chat or whatever. And he said, "So what are you doing here?" And he said, "Well, the only reason I came is just to see if our training ground's better than this." And it is. It's like, really seems to be a massive ego thing with this bloke, doesn't it?
Well, it's one of the unique selling points we've got, isn't it, over teams. If you've got like 10 clubs coming in for you and Liverpool and Chelsea are offering more wages, or Man United are offering more wages, I mean, the stadium and the training ground are going to be a unique selling point for us, aren't they? Like, this is where you get to spend every day. If there's not a lot in it with the wages, he's got half a sniff of saying to them, "This is a good environment to be at." It's not really, is it? But
yeah. So Kavinsky Nightglow says, "I know Donna Cullen. I think I'll spend 65 million on Dom Solanke, even though he's only had 1 good season in the Premiership."
2 now. I'd suggest it's 2.
Yeah. Trying to get your head up. My wife's coming. Okay, Daniel. Daniel sets us up for every season for failure. Madison made a big mistake joining us, as this was supposed to be his big move, and now he's playing with Odegaard, Tell, Solanke, and Richarlison up front. That boxer entered the stadium last night to Arsenal's North London forever. Yeah, we mentioned that earlier. Lego V. You're right, Kev. Hope everything's okay, mate. We gave you a shout out at the start of the show. Hope Sarah's getting a bit better.
Kev, you're asking for your thoughts on the trip to Crystal Palace. If you've got any memories, or what a bollock he wants to get to Crystal Palace away, Kev. If you've got some.
Oh, yes, yeah. Yeah, ever been to Selhurst Park, Kev? If you have, let us know in the comments, mate. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Going back to what you were saying about the stadium and training ground being a selling point, don't you think that should have been the case with the manager as well? Or have they all figured out? Well, everybody knows about Levy now.
Yeah. What you got to remember is that Conte and Mourinho's agents are two of the big guns they control football, don't they? Pretty much. So they would put out there what a cunt Levy is to work for, and he can't succeed there, and he's kind of got a bad reputation, isn't he, within the guys that control the managers. So unless it's a money oriented move, someone it's on like a lesser amount of money, that's the only person we're going to get, and it's someone that's motivated by a quick payoff, because they know they're not going to get backed, and they're going to get a payoff after 18 months for 5 years work, aren't they? Whatever. Yeah. So they're the only people we're going to get now. The agents would be happy to throw them ones into the ring, wouldn't they? But they're top clients who actually want to win stuff and have ambitions of being at the top elite level. They're not going to touch us with a barge pole, are they?
No, absolutely.
Look at the problems we had appointing Nuno that year. Was it?
Yeah.
Search when no one would come, and then everyone was burning us, and we changed our mind 2 or 3 times, didn't we? And Nuno was kind of a desperation appointment at the end, wasn't he? Really?
Yes. Yeah. Well, so I think Ange was as well, to be honest. In the end.
Yeah, I think you might be right. Yeah. It was certainly suggested, wasn't he, early on? But then I think some of their other targets burned them, didn't they? Like the guy at Liverpool.
Slot. Yeah. But,
so
kept saying loads of visits down South London. It was always bland stuff, usually a draw. How long did it take you to get down there, Kev? Because it ain't on the tube. I think it might be on London Overground now, but you used to have to take British Rail to get down there, as far as I'm aware. But let us know. Kavinsky Nightglow, the training ground has been a huge selling point, and lots of donkeys have swiped with us over the years. So that Daniel Levy has put £800 million worth of debt due to bad signings, which turned into bloody hell. Is it that much? Jesus.
Yeah, he made a point of that the other day.
Who said that?
Levy and his stupid little financial report thing the other day. Okay. He'd invested how much money in the squad.
Okay.
As we said, it buy right, buy once, buy shite, buy twice. So if you buy twice, you have to buy another player to replace the poor buy in the first place, aren't you?
Exactly. Yeah. I kept saying it would have been quicker to go to a Midlands club. Well, I remember going to see West Brom.
Yeah, that was.
Yeah, it took what was it from Marylebone? I think it was about an hour.
Yeah.
Get to Birmingham New Street.
Yeah, we went from Wickham. We even went from Wickham with like an hour up to Birmingham, and then like 3 or 4 stops to the Hawthorns.
Yeah.
God,
what a shithole that place is. You think Tottenham's bad? Fucking hell.
I bumped into Troy Townsend's dad when we were out there. He was quite big on social media and in the media at the time. When his dad, when Troy Townsend was playing, when his son was playing for us.
Oh, what, Andros?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Right.
Yeah, we bumped into him when we went to West Brom. They were all the family, the players' families and stuff were on the same train as us coming up from London. So
okay, yeah, nice.
Based in there.
Hi guys, can you hear me?
Hi,
yes, we can. Eugene, how you doing?
Yeah, I just hopped on to say hello, and of course, right. All I'm gonna say is, all our league games now are pre-friendly games and training sessions, right? The most important is the game on Thursday, and not to forget, I'll be doing a watch along, right, for the Liverpool game, and let's see how they become champions on our expense.
Expense of Arsenal, you mean, Eugene?
The thing is that I don't care about Arsenal, right? No, all I care is that we are the champion.
Have you got your big bag of money there, Eugene?
Yeah, we need a big bag of money,
your
right?
Big bag of booty.
Yeah.
So, what are your thoughts today, then, Eugene? What's your prediction?
We're gonna get smashed 4-2.
Okay, other way around this time, right?
Yeah, this one is opposite, right? Yeah. Not Spurs gonna win 4-2, but we're gonna get smashed 4-2.
Okay.
To tell the truth, right? I think he will experiment. He will play more or less the same squad that he did against Nottingham Forest, right? If I was him, right, my back four will be Vicario will be there. My back four will be Gray, Denso, Davis, And who will be on the left? Spence. Yeah, I'll play that. Midfield will be something like Sa, Bissouma, and maybe Bergwall. Yeah. The front three will remain the same as Tel, Richie, and what's the other? Odebear. Yeah, keep it at that sense. I'll keep it at that against tonight. Yeah.
So you think it'll be
risk
Richie
any
instead of
injury
Solanke?
to our first team. Sorry?
You think it'll be Richie instead of Solanke?
Yeah. To tell you, I rather Richie than Solanke.
Yeah.
Richie's been playing 2 games and been scoring twice.
Yeah. That is true. And also he's got the fans hate him because he played for Everton, so that always G's him up when he's getting grief. So that
I know.
Yeah, that could be a decent shout there.
Yeah.
Oh, the bear is right. Oh, the
I'll look at it. Yeah. But guys, I've got to make a move because I'm still working, as you can see it. I'll catch up with you guys later, right? If you're going to join me for the watch along, you can always join me for the watch along later. We'll have a laugh and some fun there, right? No more serious football talk in the next. I mean, to tell you the truth, right? Thursday is the important game. That's how I see it. Yep. Today, let it be. Let Liverpool take the lead, right? And most probably we'll come out with the guard of honor for them and all that, right? But guys, catch you later, bro. Take care. Bye-bye.
Yeah, take care, Eugene.
Back to
Nice
work.
to see you, mate. Thanks a lot.
All
Come on,
right.
Spurs, leave you out.
Yep. And Levy out.
So Kavinsky's saying, oh man, you'd rather Richie than Solanke? That's 120 million worth of mind fuck there. That is very, very true.
Those were the opinions of Eugene, not ourselves. I think I'd like Solanke to start. Richie will be up for it. It'll be a good impact sub when he's come on and kick some Liverpool fans.
Kev's saying Liverpool win 4-1 and they will declare at half-time, sending on a load of kids. Yeah, wouldn't surprise me.
Yeah, probably.
What's your prediction, John?
I think if you think when we went toe-to-toe with them, when we were playing really well and they were playing really well, they actually battered us, didn't they? As I was saying in the group, their A game battered our A game. So we're going to go up there with this hoodoo, like 1 victory in 100 years or whatever, and giving up in the league. Don't want to get injured for Thursday, so we're going to be half-assed, aren't we? And they're going to be motivated in front of their home fans to win the league. So it could be quite a scoreline, I think.
Spanking, yeah.
Yeah.
You think it'd be worse than the semi-final?
Well, the semi-final, in theory, we were motivated for. So if you take that motivation away and then add that to the, it could be scary, couldn't it? Unfortunately.
Double figures.
Yeah. Well, we were quite open last week against Forest, so Liverpool, their game is set up to kill teams on the counter attack, isn't it? So it could be. Depends. Well, we normally concede bloody in the first minute, don't we? At Liverpool, the game's gone. So if we can get to 5 minutes first of all without conceding a penalty or a stupid free header or something.
Yeah, and we don't have Lamella to kick all their players and wind them all up.
They're still obsessed by that game. Like, was it last year when they had the offside goal and
yeah.
and they scored the own goal at the end? And I saw a load of them saying, "Oh, what sweet revenge it'll be to after they were celebrating like they'd won the league when they beat us in the last minute last year." It's like we're only celebrating because we don't like you lot and we've got a last minute winner against you. For Christ's sake, we didn't think we'd win in the league or anything. And we want you to win today. We fucking want, because it's quite funny for Bants against Arsenal, isn't it?
But that was like, they're always going on about that. But do you remember seeing that celebration that they got when they drew with West Brom?
Yeah.
They were lined up in front of their away fans and held hands and did the old woo, woo, woo. And it's like, yeah.
They're strange lot, aren't they? Strange lot.
They are definitely, yeah. Audio Artisan, welcome, sir. How are you? Solanke should be fired up with a point to prove versus Liverpool, but Richie is probably the way to go on form, and with him being ex-Everton. How long did Solanke play for Liverpool for? It's a few seasons, wasn't it?
He's only a youngster there when he didn't. He got a pound for those.
Because where did he start? Was he Chelsea?
Chelsea, wasn't it? He's got quite a good CV, hasn't he?
Yeah. I'm not sure that he's really hit the heights that we thought he should, but
I bet he was. That's the other thing that if you didn't see the game the other day, Jens, we put in loads of crosses, and we were saying fucking Solanke must be sitting on the bench going, for fuck's sake. The one time I don't play and we managed to get loads. We had two really good wingers, Tell and Odeberg, and they put loads of good crosses in.
Yeah.
So he must have been fucking sitting on the bench going, where have you been for the last month? Not giving him any chances or creating anything for him. And then they created loads for Richie. He was a bit rusty. He did all right. He got a few good headers on target and stuff. But yeah, Solanke must have been pulling his hair out.
I just freaked out a little bit there. I just had a notification on my phone saying that Liverpool versus Tottenham's kicking off. I'm like, what the fuck? And the women are playing them as well today. So that's what's just kicked off.
Is Ian right on commentary?
God, that woman is fucking infuriating, isn't she?
Yeah. What a stupid thing to say. There's too many men in the women's game. Like, love. Every game we have now, there's a random token woman on there for no reason whatsoever.
Yeah. Match of the day last night. I don't know who she was.
Men to be doing the women's games. It's like, come on. Where's the equality there?
But, you know, he's scored 19 goals in 40 games. So that's in 80 games. That's one goal every other game or one goal every game. And it's like, she is so fucking thick. It is. Yeah.
She's not very good
No.
at being a pundit.
No. So if any of our players hit the heights, they'd end up knocking themselves out of the classes. I think I watched the women's game and said at least they'll end up playing better than the men's team. Having a bad season this year.
Considering loads of funds and money and managers and transfer budget into it, it hasn't gone to plan, has it?
No, and it's so Solanke only played 21 times for Liverpool in 2 years.
Did he get any goals?
One. I don't think he never played for Chelsea while he was there. And he was there for 3 years. But
he knew he was going to be a Tottenham player, so he whacked him off.
Yeah. Doesn't matter if you're having a bad season. I wasn't looking at the football. I think that it will be 4-0. I don't think we'll score. I think
we've been up there playing well so many times, haven't we? Like, thinking this could be the time we're going to roll them over. I can't stand them when we're playing really well. We turn up there and freeze, don't we? So
yeah.
I mean, there is an argument that says there's no pressure on us and it's a free hit, so we might play with a bit of freedom up there. But nah, can't see it. Yeah. If there's 50-50s and an extra 10 yards to put in a little run, they're not going to want to do it, are they? Thursday on the horizon.
Yeah, absolutely. No one wants to get injured.
No.
So talking about Thursday, moving swiftly on, I'm actually going for the same team as today against Liverpool. But yeah, I think I'm probably wrong there because I think Kulu will come in. I'm not sure if he'll play instead of Johnson or instead of someone in the middle. Do you think he'll play Porro for this one?
Yeah, probably. Although he's a bit of a liability defensively, isn't he?
Yeah, massively. And I don't think he really offers as much as a lot of people think going forward.
No.
So he's a difficult one. I know that some people think he's the best thing since sliced bread, but it's okay, Pompous. But I just think that he'd probably be better being moved up the pitch.
Mm-hmm.
And considering the way that Johnson plays, if you move Johnson into the centre and you had Porro on the right, I have a feeling that Johnson would have a fucking field day.
Move him to the centre of the bench if it was up to me. To be fair, in that European game, he showed a bit of heart and character, didn't he, Johnson? He was actually running in behind. He was actually getting stuck into tackles. So he has got it in his game. So maybe it was the coming of him.
Yeah, well, you never know. In regards to Bodo Glimt, obviously they've had a really good few years in the European competitions. and obviously the plastic pitch has helped them. What do you think our chances are? I just want to move forward a little bit, move forward a couple of weeks. What do you think our chances are going up against them in that small stadium near the bloody Arctic Circle on a plastic pitch?
It depends what the scoreline is. It's all in contact to that, isn't it? You know how we've got traditionally we've got a history of stinking the place out when we've got a lead to defend, or it's tend to play better when there's something on the game itself. Then we need an actual draw or a win to go through. If we go over there with a lead of 2-0 or 3-0, I think it gives us a problem as to how we approach it, kind of thing. But and on a difficult pitch, a difficult atmosphere, it's quite a small stadium. I understand.
Yes, yeah.
So
I think we're getting 700 tickets.
So in theory, would you think we could? Well, we'd want to take a lead over there, wouldn't we?
Yeah, you would have thought so. How much do you reckon we could? Because they're going to come and they're going to defend, aren't they? They'll play on the counter attack, or maybe not even. Maybe they'll just pack the penalty box and hope to get away with it. But yeah,
don't know anything about them. Difficult to say.
Well, apparently 2 of their main players are suspended for the first leg. I did actually watch the end of their game against Lazio, the home leg.
Yeah.
And Lazio, God, they looked terrible. And Glimt were well up for it. They were cutting through them like a hot butter through knife. They've got some hot butter through knife, a hot knife through butter. They got some very they played nice passing football, and I think that could worry us.
Should be a good game.
Yeah. So Maddison won't play today. Just wait and see. Ange has ruined Maddison's season, even though he has 20 goals and assists. Notice how our fan base worship players who have shit end product. How do you mean? Who are you talking about there? Will be raped by the Vikings again. They'll return to England walking like penguins. Well, I'm not saying nothing, because originally being a Viking, but not from that part. We're from the civilized part.
Remember, I did my DNA thing as well. I was a Viking as well. I remember, Jens. It's like something silly, like 65%, wasn't it? Viking?
Oh, really? Nice.
Yeah, I told you about that.
Yeah, I think I remember that. Sorry, I can barely remember what I had for breakfast, John.
Well, my family were from like Bridlington and Hull, so they obviously got raped and and rampaged up there from the Vikings. So yeah, it's always nice to be a descendant of rape, isn't it? Raping and pillaging.
Well, we did it for 300 years.
I'm sure. Yeah, exactly. I'm sure we all are at that level.
Kev says on this Thursday, Bono score first at ours and we win 3-1. Okay. So Kavinsky's saying Odeberg, Bergvall and Tell. I disagree massively on Bergvall. I think he's been really good. Odeberg, hasn't really had a chance this season, been injured. Tell, again, too early to say. Kulu, disagree again. I can't believe that I'm backing up these Swedish players. But no, I disagree. I think he's been one of our standout players this season. I know you say that Maddison has the 20 goals assists, but I don't think he's been as great as you think he is. I know you're a big fan of him.
He's been
a lot of the time he doesn't seem to show up, but
he's consistently inconsistent, isn't he?
Yeah, all these players are garbage. Yeah, I have to say I disagree with that.
As
great running around looking like he's doing something when he does nothing.
As our roving report from the Notts Forest game, Jens, Tell had a really good game actually. With me and my brother both said that he seems to be getting up to the pace of the Premier League now. It took him a while to settle, but he seems to kind of click for him now. He had a really good game actually.
Yeah. Okay.
So hopefully
that's nice to see.
Yeah.
As Kavinsky says, "Oh, for fuck's sake, what are you talking about, man? He's playing with trash." Well, our wingers can't even take a man on, and Maddison has to work with that. How about Levy goes and signs Wissa and Bro? Yeah, that'd be lovely. That would be great. But I just still think that obviously the bar is higher with Maddison. We expect more from him than someone like Bergvall or Odebar. Kulu, I disagree. I think I expect more from him as well, and I think he's done well. But nobody is consistent.
Yeah,
And
Cooley
it's-
started really well, and then he kind of got when we had loads of players come back fit, he got shunted out to the right again. Then he started the season like a train in the middle, didn't he? And then he got, because he's a good player that can play in two positions, he got shunted out of his preferred position, and he hasn't really shone since, has he? But that's not really his fault, because he was playing really well in the middle, wasn't he? And then Maddison came back, and he was trying to squeeze in Sarr and Bissouma and Rodrigo, and he was the full guy, wasn't he? He got moved back out of position again.
Yeah. But I think Maddison scoring and assisting 12 goal assists in this team is a miracle. I'd agree with that. I wouldn't go so far as to call the players trash. I think that we do have a good side. I just don't think they're being coached properly. And I don't think they have the motivation. Which there could be, I think, what was it? As Conte said, we're just used to it. We take it that we're not doing very well. The players don't play under pressure.
No.
And that is obviously massively down to those arseholes in the boardroom. Who knows if this will change with this new guy from Arsenal? I'm hearing a lot of interesting things about his time with them and how he was great with the fans, etc. But yeah, okay, you're being great with the fans is all wonderful. Well, that's a good start. Liverpool scores against Tottenham women, so that will be probably about what happens in the men's game.
I was watching, yeah, this is quite pertinent to your point, actually. Watching, there's a YouTube football team kind of called Dorking Wanderers. They started as a Sunday League team. I don't think they're not a YouTube team, but they cover them. It's called Bunch of Amateurs, I think it's called. And he was the other day that they're sort of a step just under Football League step. I mean, they're in
Cheshure's league, aren't they?
They are at the moment. They're in the playoffs, though, so they might go up to. Last year they're in the league above and they got relegated. And he was saying that some of the league players that he's got that come down, he said what he's noticed is the difference in the players that played in the Football League and the players that he's had come out through the sort of amateur levels is not talent. He said there's some players that I've got here, they've got equal talent. He said the mentality is just different though for the Football League players. The ones that played in the Football League, they've got that extra 10% in mentality-wise. They want to win as a professional, and they don't accept dropping off standards. They don't accept inconsistencies in their game. You know, if they have a bad game, they want to have 3 out of 4 good games, not 2 out of 4 or 1 out of 4 like some of the other players. And he said that's the extra 10% is the mentality. So if you take that through to the top level, the elite players of the game, your Ronaldos and your Messis and people like that, they've got that killer instinct, that elite mentality, haven't they? They want to win, and they treat their bodies right, and they train properly and stuff like that. And I think that's the reason that we can afford some of these players and some of the wages that we pay out and stuff like that, because they're good, they've got the talent there, but they haven't got that elite winners mentality, which I think is what Conte was getting at, that if you pay peanuts you get monkeys, don't you? Really, you've got to pay the top dollars to get those players that are going to get you over the line.
Yeah, well, it's players like Gary Mabbott, Graham Roberts, Steve Perryman would basically drag you. If you weren't up to standard, they would drag you to their level and, you know, make sure that we won. It's as you say, it's so much about mentality, and so many players have a weak mentality in this team.
Yeah, I think that's what he was getting at with last year when we wanted Arsenal to lose. We went to lose, so that he says the mentality is in the fan base as well. Well, there is an argument for that. I do agree, but we don't want Arsenal to win anything. So if there's a choice of losing one game of football and Arsenal not winning the title, so be it, you know. But then maybe that proves his point.
Yeah. Kavinsky's saying, I never want to see Tell, Odegaard, Solanke and Richarlison in the Tottenham shirt again. I'd rather start with you two up front. I'm a central defender. And where do you play now, John? You were playing.
Yeah, it's a good answer as to what we were just talking about. Wherever the manager wants me to play. You know, you've got to do what.
Yeah.
Although my manager will probably disagree with that because I kick off when I don't play midfield. So yeah, that.
So let's be real. There's zero standard at Tottenham. The bars are set very low. That's very true. We've got a lot of monies though. That's what Daniel likes. All about the Benjamins. Kev says we have an open door policy with our defence goalkeeper. Until that changes, it's same old, same old. Yeah, that is very true. The defence just. I know they say the best form of attack is defence, but you've got to see that you've got to remember that the other team's going to attack you as well. So if you've got no one back defending, you're fucked. Is that a Lesh t-shirt you got on there? I like that. Yeah, man. Yeah. Oh, I haven't seen those in ages. Yeah. Nice one, John.
Yeah. Going back to what Brian Clough used to say about his defence, he said he never overcomplicated. He said my centre backs, I just want them to head and clear everything. He said my fullbacks stop crosses being put into my box. I don't think our fullbacks stop crosses being put into our box, do they? It might be to do with the system of wing backs or whatever, but playing high up the pitch. But we certainly don't stop crosses coming into our box, do we? Which is the first phase of defending aerial threats, basically. Yeah. People have got. There's no pressure on the ball for them to play into our box or cross into our box from the midfield and from the fullbacks.
Yeah, well, I'd kill for Des Walker at the moment.
That's funny. Do you see that story with Gary Lineker saying before the 91?
Oh, yes, yeah.
Yeah, you see that, yeah, when they played him in the league game, didn't they? And he said, I always had a tough game against Des and I never got a look in. So I deliberately played poorly in the game before because they put Steve Chettle on him or something to see how Chettle got on. So he let Steve Chettle win everything, just with half an eye on the cup final. And then at half time, I think he'd scored. They had a penalty, didn't he? And then Des said to him as they're walking out from the change room that it worked. He goes, "What do you mean it works? You playing poorly against Steve Chettle at your place. He's marking you first half." And then he said it worked at half time. He goes, "I'm back." Like he walks around to him, "I'm back."
I actually, I can't say I've met him, but I saw him in a nightclub in Nottingham. Des Walker. I think he was coming towards the end of his career. Or I think he'd retired by then. But I was at university and I was like, fucking hell, it's Des Walker.
You never beat Des Walker.
Yeah, I did, I didn't tell you, did I? Oh, yeah, I probably did tell you. I was driving up to be dropped off by a taxi for my holiday last week. And there's a bloke stood on the side of the road. Now, considering Schiphol is a very busy airport. And I'm like, that's Michelle Vaughan. And my wife turned around and she said, I think you might be right there. And so he dropped us off about 100 metres and she said, what are you doing? I said, I'm just going to go and see if it is him. And so I walked up and I got closer and I thought, yeah, it's definitely him. And he was on the phone. So I walked up and I said, Michelle. And he looked at me and said, what? And I leaned in, I shook his hand and said, come on, you Spurs. And he gave this big bellowing laugh. I said, yeah, nice, mate. Absolutely made my day. I couldn't stop smiling the whole day. Because he was on the phone, I didn't ask him for an autograph or a selfie. Well, I'm a bit old for that shit. It was really nice to meet him, and he seemed like a really nice bloke. So Kavinsky says, my old manager drilled into us that in some games it's spirit that wins the game and nothing more. That is absolutely 100% on, mate. Mm-hmm. Ange's defensive tactics, okay, lads, just drop your shorts. Yeah. Oh, sorry. Yeah, that's probably not as funny as I thought it was. Right, so predictions for the Bodo Glimt, or what? Who do you think will play, John?
It'll be Bentancur, Kulusevski, and Bergwall as the three, I think.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
I think he'll play Brenda on the right, Tell on the left, and Solanke up front. And it'll be, I think you're right, I'll put Porro back in. And he's already said that the doggy's playing. So, again, a must-win game where we need to be on the front foot and our boy's not playing. Jed Spence will be on the bench.
Well, this is what Kev's just saying now. This is something that I'm not sure. Do you think he'll be back?
Not that bothered, to be honest.
No,
it says it all, doesn't it?
Yeah.
The amount of time goals we've conceded this season where he can't control the ball on the left hand, they're broken away and scored. Must drive the manager mad.
Yeah. Well, they're saying that he's back early May, so yeah, definitely.
Well,
Yeah.
you know what'll happen if we do go through. It'll be one of the same Harry Kane situation again. Does he put Son in as the senior player, even though he hasn't played and he won't be match sharp and whatnot, and it will have that Harry Kane situation all again.
So that's interesting that Kev's new dog Torvi is able to post on a YouTube show. I'm very impressed with your training, Kev. That is proper good. So the dog posted that. Worry about Son getting a place. Yeah.
What did the dog post? More importantly, I didn't see it.
I'm worried about Son. Woof.
Woof.
Poor Sonny hurt his tooties. Yeah, well, he's been a great servant for us, but I really do think his trajectory is massively heading downwards now, which is understandable. How old is he?
32, 33.
He's 32. So with a decent manager, I know that yeah, but I think with a decent manager, he can still play for another year or two. But he just needs, yeah. Is he another one who lacks heart?
Will he?
Another one who lacks that?
Maybe he's too emotional, which is odd, isn't it, for South Koreans, because they're the discipline and the first ethic is drilled into them. Yeah. So you think he wouldn't be as emotional, but he cares, doesn't he? Maybe he cares too much. Maybe he lets it affect him too much, and when things aren't going well, he tries too hard and doesn't calm down enough, does he? Maybe. Problem he's got is he going to be picked on merit over the next couple of years, or just because he sells loads of tickets and merchandise? That's and any manager that comes in has got to be under pressure to play him and to keep him and to make him a linchpin of the team, and no one can go on forever, can they? No. Well, look at Mo Salah. He was awful last year for Liverpool, wasn't he? His time's coming to an end, and everyone's saying he doesn't care anymore. He wants to go out Real Madrid, and then he had a point to prove this year, didn't he? Thought it was his last year, and he wants to go out on a high, and he's back to his heights again. So maybe he needs a new manager and a fresh change or a fresh challenge even within Tottenham to motivate him again.
Yes, yeah. Yeah, I don't think he's going anywhere. Has he signed a new contract yet? He hasn't yet.
Well, he didn't. He signed. I think they just kicked in the automatic 1-year extension, didn't they? They didn't offer him 2 years, which maybe that's what he's got the needle about.
Yeah, that's a possibility. So Kavinsky is saying, I guarantee Romero and VDV won't start together. Why do you think that? It would be interesting to see Danzo play instead of probably Romero, I'd say. But then again, VDV hasn't really looked like his old. He's getting a bit back up to standard. The last game that I saw, which was that against? I can't even remember. Was it Wolves? How did he play against Forest in the first half?
He did all right. No, didn't do a lot wrong. Didn't do a lot right. It was a bit inconsequential, really. He had one good run where he covered back and won the ball when someone was through on goal, one of his usuals. Stopped a certain goal pretty much, but apart from that, that's good enough, I suppose, isn't it?
Yeah.
Apart from that, I didn't do a lot. And like I said to you, we didn't really notice that there had been any difference when him and Romero went off.
Okay. Right. Okay. Did you make a prediction?
Fucking hell. I don't even want to begin to think about it. It could go anyway. Who knows? Again, like Maddison, we're consistently inconsistent as a team, so you can't begin to imagine which team's going to turn up or how we're going to perform. Or we might put in a good performance, we might not. Who knows? I reckon I'll go with Kev. I think 3-1.
Yeah.
To us, they'll score first. 3-1 or 3-2. I think to us.
Yeah. I'm going to go 2-1, I think.
Won't be the worst.
I don't think we'll take a big lead back to...
That might be for the best, though. Like we said a minute ago, like if we're 2 goals ahead, we'll go over there half-assed, won't we? And thinking the tie's already done. But if we've only got 1 goal lead, we've got to go over there in the right mindset, haven't we?
Yeah. Yeah.
But then again, look what happened against Liverpool. You'd have thought that against them, wouldn't you? That throws that out the window.
Yes.
Final 1 goal lead, go up there, get a draw, and just fucking shit the bed and didn't turn up, did we?
Yeah. Yes. All right. Oh, Tottenham have equalised. Good stuff. Because apparently Beth England's back playing today, and she's our big star supposedly. But
They're losing, are they?
yeah, no, they're just 1-1 now.
I was watching. Speaking of our sort of other aspects of our club, I was watching Wickham yesterday against Leighton Orient. Obviously, Jamie Donnelly was playing. He nearly scored another worldie again, right foot this time. Sort of volley from the edge of the area, just went past the post. He had a good game actually. He was their main man, taking all their corners and free kicks and everything. He's a good player, and he looks nice and neat. He's too good for that level. It's like Division 1.
Do you think he'll be able to step up and be in or around the first team next year?
I've got on record saying that he shouldn't have even been allowed to go this year. I mean, in pre-season last year, he was our best player by far, wasn't he? He did everything asked of him. He played really well every time he came on, different positions. I mean, he played left back at one stage, didn't he?
Yes, yeah.
Came on, did really well, set up loads of chances. He looks probably our best player on the pre-season tour, and then he was the first one to get bombed off on loan, wasn't it? It didn't make sense to me.
Yeah.
Him and Mikey Moore did really well, didn't they?
Mm-hmm.
I guess maybe a decision between the two. Hey, do we keep one or the other this year and send one out on loan?
Yeah. Johnny has 9 goals and 8 assists. Yeah, did you see that goal last week? Fucking hell.
So the one this week was really good. He like just on the volley from outside the area, cut across it on his right foot.
Very nice. So I just want to do a little bit before we leave you all on loan watch. You've actually taken part of what I was gonna say. Keeley is again having I think he was
clean sheet yesterday. 1-0 they won.
Yeah. Then Alfie Devine and Vuskovic. Now I didn't quite realise how badly Westerlo were doing. They're in the relegation split, whatever you call it. It's very complicated in Belgium the way they split their league. I think they split it into 4 rather than where most leagues split it into 2. So I can't figure out what the fuck's going on. But Alfie I don't think has been as good as some people were expecting him to be. He was on the bench yesterday. I think he came on 60th minute, something like that. Vuskovic has been a scoring sensation, but I'm not 100% sure how great his defending is.
Yeah, it's odd, isn't it? He's a centre-back, but he seems to be getting lots of goals, which is a good compliment.
His hero is Ramon Vega. Alfie Dorrington played the full 90 minutes. No, played, I think, 78 minutes yesterday for Aberdeen, who beat Hibs to end Hibs' 15-game unbeaten run. And they're looking good for 3rd place in the Scottish Premiership. He has really had some up and down performances while he's been there. But he seems to be settling down a little bit. And it'll be interesting to see if he can push on. And I'm not sure he's at the level for Premiership, but I think he'll have a decent career hovering around the Championship, maybe League One. And you never know, he could do an Adam Smith.
Yeah, good his way back up.
Yeah.
Early to write him off.
Yeah, no, I'm not writing him off just yet. I just don't think that he's at the moment. But then again, what is he? 19, 20?
Yeah, young guy.
Plenty of time.
Big Vic's up there as well now, isn't he?
Who, sorry?
Big Vic Wanyama. He went up to Scotland.
Oh yes, yeah, but he's in the Championship.
He got sent off on his days. Someone free that was free on goal. He's pulled him down and got a red card.
George Abbott has been playing very, very well for Notts County. I think they're in the playoff position at the moment. So he's another one who you never know could come back and surprise a few people. Ashley Phillips, 2 weeks ago got man of the match, and then last week got a rating of 3.9. And someone said, "I have never seen a worse a Stoke City fan said, "I've never seen a worse defensive display in all my years of supporting Stoke City." So that doesn't fill me with massive confidence.
It went to his, maybe didn't it? The praise went to his head.
Yeah, but Tottenham just gone 2-1 up in the ladies' game. But it'll be interesting to see because they were raving about him a few weeks ago. And one bad game, that sounds a bit sort of, like a Tottenham player, really, doesn't it? Mano Solomon, who I think will probably be selling to Leeds, but he's had a great season for them and obviously helped them get promoted. He scored a couple of absolute worldies. So, I don't know. Do you think he'll come back in? Do you think he'll be let back in the fold? Or
I don't think so. I mean, there's more fitness with him. I mean, obviously, there was controversial. We say controversial views. There's probably views that me and you share, which he posted out, isn't it? So whether they're controversial or not, I don't know. But I think it's more to do with how he recovered from his knee injury, wasn't it? Because he had quite a severe knee injury. It was a good opportunity to get a year's football into his leg to see if he was ever going to come back, and he seems to have passed the test with flying colours, doesn't he? Really?
Yeah. 15 million for Solomon, and Daniel will buy 7 players for the under-8s. Yeah, we need a good old Vinnie Jones in our team. I wouldn't go that far, but I'd definitely take a Graham Roberts. Someone like that. I think that'd be rather nice. John, have you been following Yang at QPR? Because I haven't really seen that much of him.
Yeah, I've got a few QPR supporting mates, and I think he scored a couple of weeks ago, and he's a bit of a power. Really. He comes on, starts the odd game. He hasn't pulled up any trees, I don't think.
Okay.
But that's to be expected. He's a young lad, just moved to the country, isn't he? Like, Championship's got an aggressive, competitive level in there, which it'll do it only serve him good to come back, I think. Yeah.
And last but most definitely not least, even though he's not one of the major players that we would talk about, is Matthew Craig, who's on loan at Mansfield. Apparently has had a decent season. I haven't been keeping up with the EFL show recently. I've got so much other stuff to watch. So I usually keep up a little bit with our loan players on that. But I don't think Mansfield again have pulled up many trees, and he will probably go the way of his twin brother and head off somewhere else. But I think we'll get a decent fee. Maybe not a decent fee, but a fee representing what he's worth. And that will no doubt go into a new F1 car or Beyonce's bodyguards or something like that. So last but not least, sorry it's dragging on a bit, John. If you want to go, we can wrap it up. But
no, Harry, I'm not leaving till
okay.
An hour or so.
First of all, who would you like? But who do you think is likely? Well, did we do this last week?
Yeah, we did, but it changes week to week, doesn't it? Like, I don't see the point in it. I think that's a attempt to share the view of Ben and Sim on We Are Tottenham TV. Does it really matter who's in charge? Because they're not going to get backed or supported in the transfer market, and then we're going to be in the same position another 18 months down the line, aren't we? When fans get frustrated with the latest drop off after an initial bit of a high, and then nothing changes until Levy leaves, does it really?
It's just a rinse and repeat, isn't it?
Yeah, we're kind of biding time, aren't we, till one of these buyouts happens and the whole culture of the club can change. So who's going to want to take it? Like we said earlier, the only managers that will take it are managers that are in it for the money, aren't they? They're these young managers that have not had a big club before. They'll just take the 5-year contracts and the payoff after 18 months, won't they?
Yeah.
They'll come in with lots of enthusiasm and lots of ideas and lots of energy, and then they'll slowly get ground down by the lack of support from above and the moaning of the fan base, and then they'll leave, won't they, after 18 months? Groundhog Day, like you said there.
Yep, like Kavinsky said, it's Groundhog Day every day at Spurs. I heard something the other day again that Donna Cullen is the one who doesn't want Poch back. What the fuck is a PR person?
Yeah, blocking a manager.
Blocking a manager. What the fuck has she got to do with the footballing side? I don't get this. I there seems to be something very wrong in who has a say at the top of our football club. The fucking PR person is saying, "Oh no, I don't want that manager back." What the fuck's it got to do with you? Just fucking do adverts for fucking this shit, that shit, and the other. You know, don't let Daniel Levy. Let someone who knows about fucking football hire a new manager. It does not make sense to me.
Yeah. All roads lead to Rome, don't they? It leaves you despondent. It does, with all the emotion and love we poured into that club, and it's kind of slowly being. He's literally he's a parasite, and it's draining us all. It's drained our love and our enthusiasm, and all he wants is commercial contracts and day tourists, and you don't feel appreciated, do you, at all? And he's like supposed to be the what do you call it, the guy that's the current incumbent in charge of our club. It's just like you don't get the message is not right at all, is it? It's literally the definition of a parasite.
Yeah. So there's also talk about Scott Munn's going to be on his way. I'm not really sure what exactly his job was, and we never really heard an awful lot about him. But sacking our doctor of 20 years, and then we go on to have and most of the medical team, and then advertising for a new medical team on LinkedIn. And then we go on to have one of our worst injury crises for many years. So I think, it might be an idea if he's off.
Yeah, I think he was brought in to build the women's side, wasn't he? Look, as much as anything, and he's done his job there, hasn't he? I don't know. Do they get many games at the stadium now? Do they get many fans in, or
who's that? Sorry,
the women's team.
I'm not sure. I think do they not play at Stevenage? But I know they played the North London derby at White Hart Lane, and I think they filled the West Stand.
As the banner says, Kavinsky built a business to kill the football club. Sums it up perfectly. Whoever thought of that slogan is perfect, isn't it? Really.
Yeah.
Commercially, we're a powerhouse, but on the football side of things, we're still way off, aren't we?
He all he wants to do is just spend enough money to keep us in the league, and it's been very close this season. So I'm not really sure. You have to say that Levy did spend, but on all the wrong players. And Ndombele and Lo Celso, that was what, 150 million combined or something?
Yeah.
Well, no. I think it was 130, wasn't it? Lo Celso 50 and no, I'm getting it wrong here. How much was and Ndombele, was he 50 or 60?
More than that, wasn't he?
How was he? Was he 8?
60 when he was 60, maybe 65.
Okay. And then Lo Celso was at least 40, I believe.
Yeah.
So
did we sell him at the end, or was he still online?
No, he's gone. He's gone. So I don't know where he's gone. I think he went to second, and not a particularly big club either in Spain. But he's a regular for the. I was Real Betis, so I think they're sort of.
Isn't Lamela went there as well, didn't he? Or was it Hill? There was another one of our loans.
Hill was at Girona, I believe, isn't he?
He's done his ACL, hasn't he? He's fucked.
Has he?
Yeah.
Okay.
He's going to be out for about 9 months. So he'll be back on our treatment tables, won't he?
So that means he'll be out for 18 months.
Yeah.
Get back to our treatment table. But Kavinsky saying, what was Munn's job? Opening the door for Levy? Very possible. The language is clear from Daniel and the board. That's wear the fucking dress, lads, and shut up. Very true. Levy's just taking the piss out of us constantly by signing Timo Werner twice on loan and paying him 165 grand a week. Yeah, and we haven't seen him.
For someone that's obsessed with money, that you can't be happy with that. Levy.
No.
Yeah.
But there must be something in the background about that. Probably he wants, because it's Leipzig, Red Bull, loads of money. There's probably some deals flying around underneath. Daniel's not thick.
No.
And so that there must be something coming in from that. Probably something which will be siphoned off to one of his other businesses, which is him and his son would enjoy, and his many friends or whatever. But I don't think he has any friends, does he? It wouldn't surprise me. So yeah, that kind of spiraled off on a bit of a tangent, chatting about the manager.
Who would you give it to, a young, hungry manager then, or what?
I'd be.
What do you think the board will go down next?
I think it's going to be very difficult for them to decide, because quite frankly, they're just going to be like, I don't know what the fuck we're doing. We got 2 serial winners in, and why didn't that work? Well, we all know why that didn't work, because they want you to spend fucking hundreds of millions on players so they continue to be serial winners. But they don't seem to get that into their head. They think, oh, he's a great manager, and I've admired Jose for many, many years, and I tried to get him years ago, but he wanted more than 20 quid an hour, and I could only pay him 15, and so I wanted him to do a practice shift in Mr. Byright on Oxford Street, but he refused. And then they go with. It's not so much a young. They've never really gone young, have they? Apart from Pochettino. Because Nuno wasn't young,
and it worked.
Obviously, Ange ain't young.
No.
But as you say, it worked. Yeah. So I would like to see him come back, but I don't think he'll come back before the World Cup.
I know, not now. Unless
so I would probably go for. It's difficult, because I'd like to give a young manager a chance, someone like Scotty Parker or McKenna. But obviously, McKenna's just taken Ipswich down. Scotty Parker's just got Burnley promoted, but he got relegated. Was it Bournemouth? And fell out with the board there as well. So you've got to have someone who will be able to work within the constraints of Levy and still have that motivation, and that was Pochettino.
But then he lost the motivation towards the end. Then he got tired of talking to a brick wall about, we need some more players here. We need some more players.
Yeah.
But Poch got criticised for not rotating the squad and not bringing players in. But you've got to appreciate what level of players was he being bought. If they were players that he didn't think were going to improve his 11, he was quite right to say, no, we don't need him. He's not good enough. He's not going to improve us. He got criticised for not rotating that squad. There was talk that he was blocking certain signings, but if they were signings that he didn't think were going to improve us, and I think he had every right to block them, didn't he?
Exactly. Yeah.
If we end up with.
They end up with Southgate, high profile, yes man, used to working with and developing young players. Perfect for Levy. Yeah. Yeah, big up Audio Artisan. Thank you for that. You just ruined my Sunday.
Yeah, but I don't know. He plays such boring, negative football, doesn't he? I don't think the fans wear that.
Yeah. Yes, but Poch had Prime Kane's son Hugo at his best, so he's not doing anything with this lot, especially up front. But he'd have Maddison, mate. So, yeah. So, Kavinsky, you told me you were in Edinburgh the other day. Who are you? Are you Hearts or Hibbies? Or are you just Tottenham?
Got to be the Dave Mackay link, isn't it, Hearts?
Okay then, mate. I think it's about run its course for today. So do you have any other business and plugs? I'd like to plug something that's happening near Wickham Football Stadium today.
What's that? I've got some cards here. I'm done with them. All these little crappy business card things I got. Where are they? No, I lost them. Yeah, I found it. I don't know if you can get the QR code from that. Where are we?
Hold it a little bit closer down a bit. Yep. Not sure if we can. It's a bit blurred. But pull it back a bit. Pull it back a bit. If anyone wants to go and see John's band, if they're anywhere near Wickham Wanderers Stadium, it's a pub called the Hourglass. Is that correct?
Hourglass, yes.
Yeah.
We're playing a couple of festivals over the next couple of weeks, so we booked a nice little local gig with a local promoter we know, and so we've got some new songs to test out and stuff. So we want to get out there and test out the new songs before we play these festivals. We're playing the Cheshire Fringe Festival, I think I mentioned last week. Big show, that'll be a big crowd at that one, hopefully. Yeah, and then we got a metal festival we're playing at next week as well.
Where's that?
That's in Wickham as well. It's called the Mortal. I think it's called Mortal Metal Festival.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I have actually seen John play live, and it was after about 10 pints at Tottenham. But I think he did all right. He was very unhappy, and I think his bandmates were quite unhappy. But then again, I'd had about 10 pints as well. So no, but John he's a great bass player, isn't it?
No.
You don't play bass?
No.
Oh, guitar. Is it? Okay, I thought you were a bass player. Sorry.
And
And also a singer.
Yeah, a guitar and sing.
And
play bass.
Kurt Cobain, eat your heart out without the shotgun.
Yeah, come on, he's got a daughter.
Oh yeah, sorry. Yeah. Well, no, that wasn't very nice. But Kavinsky said he'd like to plug Daniel Levy into a socket while he's taking a bath. So thank you very much, everybody, for tuning in. Yeah, all the best to you as well, Kev. I hope that Sarah gets better. And yeah, don't forget, more curry, more chicken soup. That will hopefully work. Everybody, please like, subscribe. Eugene will be doing a watch along later on. I don't know how that guy does it. It's going to be about 5 o'clock in the morning for him in Malaysia. But please tune in on
watch
Spurs Asian TV, Shelfside Spurs, and RVTV, and
enjoy banter in Arsenal and enjoy their tears when they've had another season without winning the title. But they're going to win the Champions League. Apparently, they don't care about the title. They're going to win the Champions League.
Yeah, I'm getting a bit worried about that. But anyway, big up yourself as well, Audio Artisan. Come on, you Spurs, and as always, Levy out.
Get out.